Hello and welcome to another Stephen Allen Almost Daily. I'm Stephen Allen. This is a day. What more do you flipping want? We're up, we're running. Sound's on, Steve's on, boom. If you've never watched one of these before, quite right, well done. Good life choices. But you're here now, so get stuck in for what we like to call in this one. On the Friday version of this, it's a Friday live and loose. We've got jingles for it.
Friday, live and loose.
Because on Friday, we like to keep things live and we like to keep things loose.
Friday, live and loose.
Just said that. What does Friday live and loose mean? Less prep. Fewer prep. Both, actually. So welcome along. If you want to take part, get stuck into the chat. Who we got here already? Joodles says, I'm grateful for the full minute intro. Just got email finished and said much obliged. Are we already a minute in? Wowzers. Charlotte, so ready for an L&L. What a live and loose. You know where that was going. Ems is here. Good morning, all. Good morning, Ems. Freshly out of prison, I believe. And Proper Memes was here first as well. And thank you, Proper Memes, for all the jingles that are giving us enough time without content that Joodles is successfully having a career in the gaps between actually getting down to business on this show. All the chat is full of loose women, says Proper Memes. Well, I'll leave you to deal with the flack they're about to give you. Good luck. Hey, it's your own stupid fault. Don't forget, the chat these days is unmodified, not modified, monitored, moderated. Unmoderated. I didn't want it to be that way, but it's happened. So let's see what happens. We'll get this cracked open in a minute. Meanwhile, should we just get straight down to business? The front pages of the newspapers. That's very specific. I mean, if we just did front pages of other stuff, we would be here all flipping day, wouldn't we? But we start off with the Daily Express today has this headline: Daily statins safe for millions more to take. It backs up my theory. You know my theory. The Daily Express has worked out, probably quite rightly, they've done research, right? They're not just guessing at this. Anyone who reads the Daily Express is so close to death. They are old and they are frail. And all it will take is one harsh winter, and the next thing you know, no one's reading the Daily Express. So a lot of their news stories are based on keeping old people alive. Daily statins safe for millions. They don't care whether there are side effects or not. They are willing to roll the dice on this one. You might get the side effects, you might live longer, and that is a chance they're willing to take. Daily Express. I do a radio show after this on All Hit Radio. Tune in. It's online. It's on DAB. It's everything. And you know how the system, the way that it works, you don't get to do these radio shows live. I do them on the day, a little bit before. Normally I would be doing it now, but I did it before we do the live stream. Starts at 1. Was it Eternal, One Step from Heaven, right? That's the song that gets played today. And I realised while playing it, that's the same as saying like 1 foot in the grave, isn't it? One step from heaven. You know when someone's frail and it looks like they're so frail, they're so close to death, you'd expect that they would read the Daily Express. They're just one step from heaven. Have a listen. It's very much a less sexy song now that you know that. So we've got Proper Memes giving it some. Loose Women is not a great name for a show, and they could fix it with some Kegel exercises. You're going to get in trouble. Martin's here. Afternoon all. Ems is saying tomorrow's front page will be about the weather. What, in the Express? Yeah, because they don't. Cold winter and not having statins. They're the two things that would absolutely kill off your Daily Express audience. Almost Daily Statins is the medical podcast by Stephen Allen. Listen, if they're willing to pay me for it, of course I would. Actually, they do a podcast now, The Express, don't they? They call it like the Daily Expresso or something. I know some of the people. It's on my list of people to like tap up about getting extra work. I'm not even kidding. As much as I should be. If they see this, I'll never get work on it. Energy drink. Hang on. While I'm doing this, you can have some theme tune if I can find it. ASMR. Also, back in the front pages. Wrong one. There we go. Back at the front pages. What we got? It's one of my favourite things is just sitting down having an energy drink with you. I quite enjoy this. The spy who failed me, says the Daily Star. Should we try and zoom in? Desperate PM Sir Keir Starmer blamed Britain's spies as he faced mutiny from Labour MPs over the appointment of pedo Jeffrey Epstein's buddy, Peter Mandelson. That's not the description you want before your name, is it? Jeffrey Epstein's buddy. You don't want to blame the spies. Do you know what I mean? It's a risk, and I know he's fighting for his job and all that, but come on. The next thing you know, there's an exploding pen, or there's a watch with a garrote wire. These are not the people to pick on. Do you know what I mean? Oh, let's see, who's the scapegoat? Oh, that one over there is a trained killer and has a license to use a garrote wire on his watch. Nope. Fool to yourself. Hang on, there's some chat happening in the chat. What's this over here? Cuffy's here. Hello, Cuffy, Mr. Cuff. I realise this is not this is a brag, PM, but I'm definitely taught. Are you self-taught? It's a pun. I don't really know what it means. Proper memes, Friday LNL, at least 50% jingles. Jingles. It's not even a humble brag. No, it's just a brag. You're quite right. She says that, though. Joodles, look, I don't want to rain on your parade, to wee on your chips. It's all very well being taught, but when Ems needs you to smuggle a phone into prison for her, you ain't going to be getting a good phone. You're going to be doing like one of those Alcatel cheap ones that aren't quite as big as iPhones. So is it really a brag? Is it? You're up to date. Back into the front pages. Front page. Oh, it's all going to be the same flipping story today, isn't it? Oh, by the way, I wanted to point out, I love days like this where you've got your Times and your Telegraph. They're basically the same. I get turned around. I don't know which one I'm looking at. Crotchgate scandal hits a Winter Olympics. We covered this story here first on this show, way before the newspapers got a hold of it. That's a bad phrase. We'll go greater depth in a bit. There's also this story. Johnson, which feels like it should be linked to the Todger-related Winter Olympics one. But PM behaving like a dictator with election delay, says Boris Johnson. You read it and there's a whiff of, I wish I'd have thought of that. You know what I mean? He doesn't come across as the guy you want to trust with these things. Look down here. NHS recruits nurse. NHS recruits, is it a verb? Is it a noun? In this case, a verb. NHS recruits nurse specialising. Nurse is also a verb. No wonder I'm getting turned around in this. And there is a chance that specialising, even though it's a conjugated verb, could be acting as a gerund. So I'm absolutely not got a flipping chance, have I? 3 words that could be a noun or a verb. Cousin, that in, and marriage for Bradford. All right, let's try this again. NHS recruits nurse specialising in cousin marriage for Bradford. Do you know what? I don't care anymore. They took that long to get through the paragraph. You know my thoughts on this. I don't think it's that controversial to say marrying your cousin doesn't seem like a good idea. And this is not, everyone does like some jokes about, you got an ugly cousin. My cousin was hot. What are we talking about? No, anyway, so the point is, I don't think it's good. I'm not in favour. And isn't it weird how some people who are saying they're in favour of it are pretending they've always been in favour of it? Back in the 90s, if we'd have asked you, are you into marrying cousins? You'd have mocked it just like anyone else. There's the hot take on that. The NHS, hiring people, how do you specialise in marrying cousins? I don't want to know. All right, so on to the next one. The Times, we're all burnt out, no one cares. Move out of Westminster or it'll take 60 years to repair. I actually had from inside the newspapers basically the same story. We'll find it later. But there's about how much it would cost. If we zoom in here, we might find the details. Renovations to the Palace of Westminster will cost every taxpayer more than £1,000 and take 60 years to finish. Can we pay for it at the end of those 60 years, he says, realising the age he is now and how likely he's going to live for another 60 years. Ain't going to happen. Not if I'm drinking these. Waldorf. So go for it. I'll pay at the end. Go for it. Or, here's my hot theory. If it costs us £1,000 each to renovate the Houses of Parliament, how about we don't? Oh, no, it means the politicians, their offices will be crumbling. There'll be more mice surrounding Kemi Badenoch. Okay. I'm okay with that. If you've got your nose in the trough, maybe you should live in your own filth. Yay! So that's my hot take and my way to save £1,000. I don't have to pay £1,000 in self-assessment for them to get a nicer office. Don't get me wrong, my office is sexy. But I deserve this and paid for this myself. No, Just leave. Oh, the Palace of Westminster will crumble. I don't know. I was in Shropshire last year. We had a nice holiday, and there are some like Clun Castle. It's just a pile of rocks. Fine. Let it do that. I don't care. I don't care, you know. Meanwhile, let's see what's happening in the chat. Something's happening there. I'm sorry, Ems, says Joodle. You'd best recruit Janet Street Porter or someone. She could have not just a phone in there. I would imagine like a whole branch of Carphone Warehouse. Is that what we're saying? She's the very woman, Ems. A pedantic grammar corner. Of course, I should have played the jingle. This is what it's like being in my head sometimes. It's a nightmare in here. An absolute nightmare. Unless you're royal, says Mr. Cuff. Proper memes. Move out of Westminster or it'll take 60 years to repair, said the backbenchers to Starmer. Hey. Mr. Cuff, they'll renovate at a cost to the taxpayer and then turn it into a mosque. It's getting spicy in the chats, isn't it? And your office is 10 out of 10, Steve. It is, isn't it? Look at this. Can you see any mice running in the background? No. You would have done in the old studio. Some of the comic solving problems were done in the actual shed. It was a shed with a studio in here. It looked this good, to be honest. All you need to do, you've seen the side view. It's an absolute mess over there, but this bit looks good. Have we got any more front pages left to do? Yeah, same story, but we'll take a quick look at it. Labour women in grey suits may be sent to number 10 to tell the PM to resign. How very modern. It's very good, isn't it? The Labour Party, how very diverse. In the old days, it was the men in grey suits. These days, they're sending in lesbian. Hang on, let's have a look. Just because it's a grey suit doesn't necessarily mean... Labour's MPs are wargaming how to get rid of Starmer. And they think sending in ladies would get rid of him? What do they know about people from Ukraine? They are considering sending in a delegation of senior female PMs to Downing Street to tell him that he must stand down, as Tory men in grey suits told Thatcher, because if he says no to them, it's misogyny. Clever. Hoisted by his own petard. And if he tries to say, well, no, this is why I shouldn't resign, mansplaining, you misogynist. Oh, they've got him. They've nailed it, haven't they? Proper memes. Soon, all the unused phone boxes will be turned into mini mosques called mosquitoes. Now you know why I had moderation on the chat. Right, where do we get to? Let's get inside the news.
Let's get inside the news.
Just said that. ASMR. Look, sometimes, hang on, I need to reach over here. I don't want to knock the drink over. Plus, I've got a coaster these days. Do you want to see my coaster? Got my own name on my coasters. It was because it's made of leather, and it was an anniversary gift when we went through the leather anniversary. And I'll tell you what, missed opportunity if you think about it. There aren't many years when I think it's a good thing about having a certain item linked to an anniversary. Obviously, no one's looking forward to the diamond one, but I think I ain't going to live that long either. But the leather one could have gone a different way. What do you think you're going to get for your leather anniversary, Steve? Ooh. Coaster. Okay. Speaking of which, this lady here, Payne, that's not her name, I don't think. 36NN Lily, great username. The kind of username that would stop you leaving comments in my chat. Too big for op to shrink 5 stone breasts. Let's have a look at this. A mum, we'll do it, actually, I'll read it first. A mum whose 36NN breasts are so heavy they gave her sepsis claims she was refused NHS reduction surgery because she was deemed obese. Right. So much of that sentence is not sexy. It's the opposite of sexy. It should be the boner killer, right? But this is the problem with being a man. I don't know why. Just somehow your brain just turns all of that sexy again. Whoa, sepsis. How is that? A mum, I mean, that's dealer's choice on that one, whether that's a plus or a minus, isn't it? But a mum who's 36NN. I mean, breasts that are basically part of a postcode. And this should be so huge. Your sensible brain should be like, oh, there's no need for that. Anything more than a truck full of waste should be a phrase. But part of your brain that's going, 36, and I don't even know that far into the alphabet. Not when your brain's in that mode. When you're in goblin mode, I can't get past H. Gave her sepsis. Claimed she was refused NHS surgery because, of course she was deemed obese because your body mass index, when you got 5 stone of knocker, 2.5 each, it's very difficult to try and get your BMI. She'd have to be 8 foot tall. Oh, 8 foot tall. See what I mean? It's not even my fault. That's just how man brain works. You don't know what it's like walking around one of these things. Absolute nightmare. Don't look at the chat, but we've got to do, haven't we? Ems says they would be grey dungarees if they were lesbians. Good point, Ems. Well made. Mr. Cuff. But do Liber know what a woman is, especially in a grey suit? I think it might be easier to tell in a grey suit. Well, it depends how loose the fitting is, doesn't it? The talk TV shows all have bespoke mugs. Why shouldn't you? Martin, you've just given me the best idea for the next Ko-fi thing. We're raising money for... How much is it to get bespoke mugs? With my mug on the mug. Oh, hello. So... Because I've got... This is the one, isn't it? And I did say the problem with the blue one is it blends into the background. Or maybe that's a good thing. Like you wouldn't be able to tell... If I get the right shade of blue, you would not be able to tell if I'm taking a drink. Just kind of ASMR. I always worry about what you can see whenever we go to the other shot. I always think, what's going to look embarrassing? And I've just realised, do you know what's next to my Nespresso machine for some reason? That looks weird, isn't it? Why do I sit around like this? I had to measure a thing. Leave me alone. You don't know. You weren't here. Right. Gee, Charlotte, she's putting you to shame, says Ems. 36NN. You know what? When a breast is that large, it sounds like a chess move. I don't think you should find it attractive. Yeah, it's just 50 Shades of Blue, says Proper Memes. And Charlotte says, oh no, what happened? I had to go for a minute. There was a lady in the news who has 36 double N. Damn it, Cuffy. Who knew there'd be a downsize? What have we talked about? What do I go? OMFG. You'd take matters into your own hands at that point. And what did Cuffy say that I've missed? Oh, it's all over the shop. Oh, he'd have to hate football then. Do you know what? I'm lost, I'm confused, and no one wants to see a man being lost and confused, so we'll crack on and see what happens next. There's a lot of rude stuff in the news. Let's try and find one that's not too rude. Oh, here we are. Row just upsetting. Gordon Ramsay says he and wife Tana treated the PTs like royalty and find their feud upsetting. I can't be the only one who'd forgotten for a minute there. Oh, yeah. They had the same... They've been knocked into a cocked hat by the Beckhams, haven't they? The Ramsays and some sort of PT thing. There was a falling out at the wedding. I didn't pay attention. I didn't give 2 flips. And now, no one cares. Everyone... Oh, this is awkward. I need to take a phone call about the car. I'll go and do that. You go. Meanwhile, you have this.
I've got to try and talk you into Ko-fi. I've got to try and talk you round today. Have a little fun and give a little funds. It's the only way the stream is going to pay. I've got to try and ask for donations to keep this show appearing on YouTube's. I wish it wasn't so, it's the only way I know, because I haven't had luck trying to sell my nudes. And if there comes a day when I don't need the money at all, if I win the lottery, till then I'll make a living talking these old balls. I've got to try and talk you into Ko-fi. For one more thing before you have to dash, go to the website, there's a button on the right where you could tip a little bit of cash. And if there comes a day when I just get a proper job, I could earn the proper way. Till then I'll keep on acting like a bit of a knob. Just a bit, you say? You're naughty. I've got to try and talk you into Ko-fi. I'm worse than a beggar on a train. I know I've had a wash, but the beggar will get off, and tomorrow I'll be asking once again. And if there comes a day when I am well-to-do. Thank you, I'll truly say, but I won't give any money you gave back to you. Well, at least I'm honest. Fund the show by giving some Ko-fi. Mr. Stephen Allen's the username. With the show I've done today, I think I know what you'll say. No, thank you, just the same. Oh well.
And we're back. Look at that. No one noticed. So the car's being serviced again. Not that car, the other one. And it's all passed, by the way, in case anyone cared. You didn't care. All right, fair enough. So we'll crack into Merciful Zeus, says Ems. What's that? Yesterday we did the blues version. I think there was some chat in the chat about doing a musical, a Les Mis version. And let's be honest, I do not have the skills to do a Les Mis version. I barely have the skills to do a P-poor version of a Rex Harrison thing in there. But, it was My Fair Lady-esque, wasn't it? There was a whiff of the My Fair Lady to it. The Not So Fair Lady. My Rough Lady to it. Let's have a look. Judel says, this is adorable. I did try, if that's what we're going for. Martin says, there's loose, and then there's back in a minute. I love a phone call. How else would you do it? If I didn't take the call, they just keep the damn car. You know what they're like. Oh, my Christ, says Charlotte. But Chris says, mucho applause. You see? And I think I've peaked. Musical genre style, blues. My music A-level basically was just blues and jazz, right? So we've done, I can't do a jazz thing, and we've done blues. So me playing the harmonica is the peak of my musical abilities. In terms of singing, Rex Harrison spoke most of his songs, so that's me. We've peaked. It is definitely downhill from here, unless anyone in the chat thing, Mr. Cuff, my fairground lady. I know the sorts. Be careful, you have to get some of those antibiotics from Epstein. If anyone can think of a musical genre that you wish me to tackle, bearing in mind I do not have the musical ability or singing ability to do much, feel free to pop it in the chat. Pop it in the chat. It's a Buffy thing. And you're right. I mean, that was, once more with feeling, is the peak of musical P-takes, isn't it? Proper Meme says, Steve, if Russell Crowe is in Les Mis, then you could be too. Good point, well made. I'll have some of them apples. Right. You're not a salmon. Let's get stuck into this. Oh, I did promise in the title of this thing an update on Epstein. Also thought of getting a jingle. Proper Memes, Epstein update. I get the feeling we're going to be talking about it, so I feel like we might need one. But let's get stuck into this bad boy. The only thing I wanted from Epstein update. Just some sort of hanging around. I don't know what the pun would be. More of the emails from, I've just realised, look at can you see strobing? This is because my light bulb, which I now used, it's an LED one, so I could dim it. And we all know how LEDs dim, don't we? They don't dim by lowering the voltage. They lower the frequency of when they flash. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Our human eyes can't see it, just sees it as being dimmer. Yeah. Anyway, so VIP dinner party plea for new girls. So this is Epstein talking to Irina. I think that's how you say it. This is the Russian lady who nearly popped round and saw Andrew, according to the newspapers. I mention this because when I lived in Gravesend, I had a cleaner called Irina, which was amazing because Irina the cleaner. I was happy with that. Right. And then Lana Zakala, no, I don't know what that is. But here's what bothers me, right? Where's my pen? I'll point to the bit that bothers me. Where's my pen? Come on. There it is. Oh, that's my phone again. I will arrive at JFK at 4:35 p.m. Sorry for all the typos sent from my iPhone. If you are using a 3-letter abbreviation for airports, you cannot afford typos. You'll be sending someone to the wrong damn airport. Spell it out fully, then you get away with it. Actually, how do you spell JFK out fully? Do you know what? But you know what I'm saying? If you do LGN, but you get one of those letters wrong, you're off to a different airport somewhere in the world. I mean, this is not the biggest problem with Epstein. I'm sure he did other things that were bad, but that's the one that bothers me. Don't send from my iPhone, sorry for the typos. Type better, you wrong'un. I think we might be about to find out. Hang on, I better start from the start. Martin says, you've peaked. I have. And but Chris Hood, Barry White next. Okay. You got something on. There's something happening there. I'm also looking forward to the ski jumper wang update. Well, that's a good point, well made. Long jumpers, Joodles, very much so. Inuit throat singing. Okay. Yeah, I'll give it a go. I think we might be about to find out. Well, you will, I'm sure. So, there we go. I can find you that one if you want. Here we are. Ski jump willy jabs. Keep them up longer. Previously on this show, we found this story, and early doors before the newspapers have gone big on it today. But ski jumpers were making their Johnsons longer because it helped. And I thought, surely, you don't need extra mass, do you? This is one of the main reasons I don't do ski jumping, is because I worry about penile mass will be one of the things that means I fall straight to the floor. Technically in there, right? Olympic ski jumpers have been injecting their willies to improve their sporting performance. Sporting is important there because other than that, we've all been doing that, but we've not been doing it to cheat at ski jumping. Anti-doping chiefs are investigating. Oh dear, I'm going to have a look at that. Some have been using hyaluronic acid jabs to increase the girth of their manhood. Does it... You know how parachutes work, right? They're big. How wide would you have to have it to give you extra lift? Thrust is what we're talking about. The Bernoulli effect, yeah? We're talking about the speed of air passing over something. You can get some thrust. You can all get some thrust. But we're talking about upward thrust. We're all talking about upward thrust. Okay, this is going to be a confusing conversation. Specifically, aerodynamic thrust in the upwards direction might keep you aloft longer. But how wide would you have to have it to get any kind of meaningful lift? And if it's so wide that it becomes as wide as it is long, you're in chode territory. And I would rather get a bronze medal and not have a chode than I would get a gold and a chode. Controversial? I don't know. Ski jumpers get 3D scans. Well, we've all done that again. But not necessarily 3D scans, but we've all got our own technologies, haven't we? Ski jumpers get 3D scans to measure their bodysuits. Okay, I didn't realise what we were talking about. Because any excess material in the crotch area can create a sail-like effect. S-A-I-L, not, this must go. Not like the DFS, which can lengthen the leap, possibly by 5.8 metres. Wow, mine's barely 7 inches. The jump. We're just done with this story, aren't we? I think I've maxed out all of the potential knob jokes. I think I'm done. They go, oh dear. Right. What have we got going on here? Chris has given Martin the clap. What's Martin saying? The type O is the most commonly misspelt kind of blood. E. Nice. This is not what I was expecting, says Joodles. Really? If you've never seen this show before, go through the tabloids, find a story that you can do knob jokes about, do that for a while, do a song. The three-legged race now, says Chris Hood. Proper Meme says, I thought we already got rid of Fat Johnson a few years ago. He partied. Epstein jingle in the mail. No way. All right, I've done the update now, and I'm fairly sure that there'll be another one on Tuesday. What's Skidi Thrans? I know I was I was struggling. I had two thoughts in my brain at the same time and they all came out. Right, where do we get to? Yeah, we're up to date. More stories. Something that's a bit less knob related. Should we just get rid of the big one again? The newspapers, I guess paper's cheaper these days because we're getting more of these stories that are too big to fit under the camera. I have to buy a bigger flipping camera. Dad faces having to tear down £64,000 pirate ship after building it illegally. And it's quite an impressive pirate ship, don't get me wrong. But I understand why you couldn't build it legally. It's a pirate ship. If you've stuck to all of the legal requirements, you've built a ship. A lot of paper wasted on that one. What's this one? This one we can fit under the camera, I think. Posh fans make up for split with son. Read the actual damn story, shall we? Here we go. Victoria Beckham's £104 foundation? Sweet mercy. That's a lot of foundation, isn't it? That's almost as expensive as the Bill Gates Foundation. Do you know what I mean? Has sold out in the 2 weeks since son Brooklyn disowned her. He was the one slowing her down. As fans throw their support behind the ex-Spice Girl. So, the son said mean things, I think we covered in the last show, covered his tattoo to hide the word dad, fell out with his parents, and now she's successfully earning some money. Is this a good time to point out that my 3-year-old the other day said I had a stupid face? Daddy, why you got a stupid face? If you'd like to support me by going to ko-fi.com/Mr. Stephen Allen, that'll show that git, won't it, eh? You want to support me rather than the 3-year-old who said, Daddy, why you got a stupid face? Because he said, trim your beard. So it's actually more about the facial hair, but still, look, we're falling out. And, whose side are you on? Team Steve, which now comes with official coasters, or Team Steve's son, who thinks I've got a stupid face because of my beard. It's up to you. Vote with your money. And if we raise enough, I will get branded mugs. Bet the Luge Pears team are glad they don't need injections. I'm sure it'd slow you down. No need for the ski poles. Proper Meme says, paper is not cheap. They just have less staff, so they use more space for single stories to fill the papers. Is that what it is? Massive, but so big. When we started this show, there was like one story I once couldn't fit under the camera. And now every flipping day. Out of the mouths of babes. Okay, what I need is to get my son to have a Ko-fi page. Give money to his Ko-fi, because you'll fall for that, and then I can siphon it off. Is the mic on? Damn it! Old Spice sells out makeup, nice, and fewer staff PG jingles. Oh, yeah, hang on. I don't have the official one. I have to go to the old one, which then we go. Pedantic grammar. But Joodles prefers this one.
Don't you mean...
Nice. Depends if he actually is just talking about the kind of stuff that would mean you do a long jump for longer. You have less of that, don't you? You might want fewer of those. Woo! Only got one. Right. Reduculous council put in 7K sign despite no pond or ducks. Did we go through this yesterday while we were talking kids? We did, didn't we? I mentioned that I find it funny to be teaching my daughter to be doing like mummy duck said backsack crack quack. Because she thinks it's just quack, 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 quack. A quacker's duck crossing sign has gone up in a village where the birds have never been seen. 6 workmen and 2 vans installed the £7,000 triangular warning this week. The borough councillor, John Knott, who's lived in the pond free, that is funny. Not only no duck scene, no pond there either, but they put the sign up. The old, one of them bad boys. And I think maybe that's why. How are the ducks meant to know they should cross there if you don't put up a sign? So you put the sign up, and it's not like, ducks can't read. There's no words on this one, is it? It's a picture of a duck, you idiot. The ducks can go that, and I'm like, oh, look at that. And then the ducks will start crossing. In the same way, where I live on the high street, it was last year, there was roadworks for about 3 weeks while they installed a zebra crossing. So far, we haven't seen any zebras. But at some point, the herd will migrate across to the other side where Tesco Express is, and it will be worth it. This one. A bot of worry at work. What? Gen Z office staff can't do their jobs without using AI, but are terrified it will make them jobless. Hoisted by your own petard. A lot of petards in today's show. 6 in 10, could have rationalised that down a bit. UK white-collar workers aged 21 to 25, you can't have that, rely on AI bots for everyday tasks. And I realised a lot of AI goes into this show, mainly from proper memes. But it's not like it's going to get replaced by it, is it? Whereas it's your own stupid fault, isn't it? If you're in an office and you're using AI to do your job for you, do you not think at some point you're going to get replaced by it? Even if it's just your boss saying to AI, how is this worker doing their work so well? They'll work it out. Flipping Gen Z. I used to not have a problem with Gen Z until John Oliver made it look like I don't like them. And now I'm going out my way to prove me right. The version of me I didn't agree with, I'm trying to prove right. Good. Be jobless. That's all I had on that story. Just anger. Hang on. Donate now so Steve can afford a razor. What's wrong with this? This beard made yesterday's show better because when I was the fake mouse, somehow it blended in with the artificial hair that the mouse had. I had the right colouring. For duck's sake, says Chris, I'm still waiting for my refund. How is a sign £7,000, says Jules? Oh, it's not, is it? It's for 6 men and 2 vans to turn up. Petrol's not cheap these days. But I'm glad someone paid for it. Let's have a look. I'm still waiting for my refund. Who's done what with who wants a refund? I believe I refer you to the earlier Pygmalion effort. No one's getting refunds. No food parcel means you'll be able to slip through the bars quicker. It's for your own good. Also, Ems, you wouldn't want a food parcel in your prison because you know how Joodles will try and smuggle it in. Ooh. I asked for this pizza to not have anchovies. It didn't have... Charlotte says, AI could never replace you, Steve. There would be no humour at all. I don't know. I bet it would also be able to sing a lot better, wouldn't it? And does their AI get performance reviews? It will sail through it. Eventually, Steve will be replaced with Steve N. AI-lin. Proper means. And Brit's here. Bring back the mouse. You see what I mean? I've already been replaced by AI. In my own show, people would rather see the mouse than me. Typical. I would pause to play a song, but we've already done it. I guess we'll do it again at the end. Oh. Yeah. Coldplay Kiss Cam, my story for £640. The HR chief caught with her boss on Coldplay's Kiss Cam is selling tickets to hear her side of the story. What side of the story is 640 quid? So again, right? I am not the head of HR, so I shouldn't be hated like someone who's the head of HR. I've not had an affair with the boss. I'm self-employed. I've kind of done some inappropriate things with the boss, but you don't need to. Look, what happens with a man in his own shed is none of your damn business. I don't have to keep this as part of the show now. It's a prop, isn't it? Makes it tax deductible. Some sort of pun that says I'm in special measures or something like that. You know what I mean? Measures have been taken. I don't know. What do we get to? It's very live and loose today, isn't it? I've never been HR. I've never had an affair with a boss. And yet, when I try and sell tickets to any of my shows, I do not get to charge £640. Last time I did Edinburgh, it was a 10 quid or a 15 quid ticket. I'm doing this for Kofi. Kristen Cabot was seen embracing Andy Byron in a 16-second clip that has been viewed more... Okay, fair enough. She is more viral than I am. The 57-year-old and CEO Andy, 50, Cougar, both later resigned. Okay. From the platform Astronomer, she'll now make her only a 30-minute show. But even then, 30-minute show about a 16-second... Let me guess. You had an affair with the boss and you were caught on the Kiss Cam. There you go. Stretch that out for half an hour. And if you do need help writing the show, of course I will change my tune for any small amount of money. What have I got left? 4 stories left. I've not read this one fully, but it's right up our street. Picture of a rocket. Earth is moving in space. Oh, I see the pun now. I didn't understand it before. Boffins are trying to work out how to have safe sex in space before things get out of hand. Feels like you're overlooking the obvious solution there, my friend. There are fears increasing numbers of tourists hitting orbit will bid to join the 100-mile high club. Eggheads, they ain't getting that much sex. Studying the challenges of galactic coupling, reckon that one solution might be an unchastity belt where you click in. Now, here's the problem with being me. My brain has two modes. One, find a very rude story in a newspaper and do sex jokes. Two, obsess about science. So my brain is straight away going to Newton's third law here, isn't it? That's the problem. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Force equals mass times acceleration. So you've just got to calculate you know what I mean? Well, up against the wall would be the best way to do it in general, but also especially in space. But otherwise, you're right. When we were writing the thing for Radio 4, that Realina Gets Forensic, so I'm surrounded by people who understand some science, and we had a conversation that didn't go anywhere about mass. Force equals mass times acceleration. And someone had seen this thing online saying that if you're in space, in the International Space Station, you've got no gravity, if you are not near a wall, you could just die up there. Because if you are just, it would be like a very low budget version of the film Gravity, but if you're up there in a space station, there's no gravity, and you're not attached to a tether or anything. And in fact, you know what? We've got some science corner. Yeah, let's do a proper science corner on this.
Science Corner.
I'm going to pose the question. Feel free to answer it in the chat. We'll see what happens. The worry is you're in space, in a space station. You're not touching any of the walls. You're not attached to anything. You can't reach anything. How would you not just die? Because you'd just be stranded in the middle of your own space station. How would you get to a wall? Answers in the chat. Meanwhile, I wonder what the dollar equivalent is. Is that what's bothering you, that she's charging 640 quid? It's a very specific number. It's because of the conversion. All right. Martin says, I've just made my first ever cauliflower steak on the George Foreman grill. Pretty good. Not related to anything else. Just sharing. Thank you. It's almost fitting that if it's a boxer's grill and you've had a cauliflower something, you should call it like the ear steak, shouldn't you? Fluid in motion study taken to a whole new level. Brit. Oh, you've put me right off my dinner. Don't ask what Steve will do for £640. I'd get to the end of a space station, I'll tell you that for nothing. It's the price of a VIP box. Oh, is that where she's going back for more? Mr. Cuff says, Sputnik. Well, not recently. Does a fart count as propulsion, says Chris. It does. It does, but you're still then dealing with Newton's second law, force equals mass times acceleration, how much mass is in your fart? And I realised that was a question I never thought I'd ask another individual. Also, please don't answer that. Censorship again. Have you been censored, proper memes? You probably have, and it's probably for the right reasons. But let's see. If we turn... I've not seen... You're fibbing, are you? I've had no messages are requiring me to okay them. All right. SpaceX XXX says proper memes. No one got a solution to this? Yeah. Okay. So because of force equals mass times acceleration, we worked this out. I worked it out, which is why I'm bringing it up. Surrounded by other scientists. And this is... So what you do, because you need to just have something that has mass and force. So you can push it away with a force and you'll go back with the same force, slower because you've got more mass. But if ever you're in space, this could save your life. No point swimming. All of this, right? What you do is you take all of your clothes off, you wee into them, and everyone will be standing around laughing at you, and then they'll save you. No, then you wee into them, and you just throw it away. And you're pushing it that way with force equals mass. You go away with the same force as your wet wee clothes. And you end up on the wall, nude but relieved. You're up to date. That's not a clip that's going on the internet, is it? Oh, it's the truth. I had a good Kofi joke which was censored. No way. Damn it. That's what I need. Sputnik, I know I see what you were meaning with that. All the best comments get censored, says Charlotte, and saved by having a poo, says... Yes. That would do it. Into your clothes, lob it away as far as you can. You'd basically want all the fluids you can, all the mass you can into those clothes. So take your time. There you go. Also, if you did have sex in space, it wouldn't be about enjoying it, would it? It would be basically doing that joke from that Bond film. 007, what do you think you're doing? Hey, looks like he's attempting re-entry, sir. Come on. That's why you'd pay your money for that, wouldn't you? That's the only reason to do that, isn't it? Chat's just not sexy in English. English is the least attractive accent in the British Isles, a study has found. Do one. Men and women much prefer to hear folks speak with a Scottish, Irish, or Welsh lilt. What? No. Come on. The sexiest accent for women is the Scottish one. God, look, there's 5 million Scottish people. You can't let them get all the voiceover work. I'm sitting here, I've got bills to pay. They are driven wild by voices of fellas like Ewan McGregor and comic Billy Connolly. Are you sure? Look, I'm not saying it's not a sexy accent. In general, it's a sexy accent. Is the thing revving your motor, hearing someone go, "Is that right, by the way? The sign says beware, so I was being ware." Put it on the list. Who else we got? Gina Peterson of East London. Maybe I'm just into the wrong things, but how is a woman with a thick Cockney accent not the sexiest? Basically what I'm saying is I want a woman who will whisper in my ear, "You are not a salmon." OMG, that Billy is brilliant. Why are you surprised that I can do impressions? Been months of trying to populate this spreadsheet. We have a lilt in England too, that's true. Totally tropical. It's pedantic, but what's an English accent? There are about 50 of them. That's a good point, well made. What about the East Midlands accent watered down by living in the South for 20 years? Is that the kind of one that... I think that's probably the top of the list. That's the sexiest one, isn't it? Keeping the British stiff upper lip. Which one was which? So, there's keeping the British end up, which I think is the end of The Spy Who Loved Me. And then he's attempting Rihanna's Moonraker, isn't it? As long as we know which sex jokes come from which Bond films, this has not been a wasted hour of your life. 47 minutes. What else have we got? Steve has already established it's Geordie accents that are the least sexy because of the country thing. No. Quite the opposite. What I'm saying is, Ems, your accent means you accidentally drop the C-bomb sometimes, which just means I would be asking you questions where the answer is something to do with country. And you'd be thinking, why is he liking this trivia quiz? Why? He's asking me questions about what style of music does Dolly Parton sing. Eh? You don't even know you're doing the dirtiest of talk because I'm asking, what name do we give to an administrative region larger than a principality? Why is he asking this in the middle of these things? Charlotte says, I always get told by people that they love my accent. Because you're not a salmon. It's because Romford's effectively East London, isn't it? It's one thing I know from my time on Time FM, that it's people, you get people calling up going, "All right, Steve." And that's just the ladies. Martin says, I'm from Kent, so I don't have an accent. Lovely. No, I love it when people don't think they've got an accent. And we're up to date. Knitted swimming trunks. Hi-ho Kermit giving us his 3 words there. 2 more stories left. There we go. What? Oh, that's the Parliament one. I said we had it from inside the newspapers. 1 more story left. What a downer to end on, but no solution to pollution. Saving the ozone layer may have backfired, environmental boffs have suggested. Damn it! Banning harmful CFCs, which were destroying the Earth's natural shield, was fundamentally good, but the forever chemicals we replaced them with are still bad, says Lancaster University. Who gets? The reason I don't like this is because I kept bringing it up. Whenever the Gen Zs were going on about, I'm going to glue myself to the M25, and Greta was giving it some, how dare you? How dare you? I would say, with Generation X, mate, we had the ozone layer thing, and we fixed it. Our environmental crisis, we actually fixed, right? Bosh, done. Bish, bosh, bosh. Change your deodorant, mess with your fridges, slightly change the way your polystyrene things are made for fish and chips. Done. Bosh. Whereas the modern day young'uns are all, I'm not going to go to school until they fix the environment. Yeah, I'm sure that's it's because of the environment, is it? Not because you're failing maths. And we'd fixed it and they hadn't. And I felt so much better than the Generation X, the Zs. We Xs are better, right? It turns out we hoisted by a third mention of Petard on today's show. Jean-Luc Petard. Mr. Wolf on main viewer. We're basically done. Where do we get to? I don't sound like Jason Statham, though. Say that, Charlotte, but you are not a salmon. Can we have a clip of you saying you are not a salmon? Because we need to run it through computers to test this. Geordie Country Dancing takes on a new twist. It's the name of one of the best clubs I've ever been to up there. Wowzers. I didn't realise. I thought you were meant to swipe your credit card there. What a convolution, says Martin. And Kermit, that is one of my favourite jokes. What did Kermit say? What have I missed? Knitted swimming trunks. I don't get it. What have I've missed? I hate it because I feel like it's a rude one. And I like the rude ones. If you could explain it, that would help. I'm glad the real... Oh, okay. Maybe it's some routine. I have not listened to Billy Connolly material since I went through a teenage phase and read 2 books about him, and I can't remember the material. However, for a short time, he did follow me on Twitter, probably because he thought I was the other Steve Allen. That Greta impression was very nearly Larry Ents. Don't put my Greta on the list. That's not an... But come on, the rest of them are pretty good. Doing it in space, ozone. Good evening. I don't like Noel or Liam. Sorry, I don't sound like Noel or Liam. You say we don't. No one knows if there is. It's because I'm sorry. What? It's because I'm sorry if a pale blue to. I don't get that. Sort of, says Ems. I'm lost. Even if I am from Manchester, says hi-ho Kermit. We're up to date. We are up to date. So we've sorted everything. We do have to go through the plugs, which are basically the same plugs. There's a bit of an update on that, I suppose, so we can... Let's hit this.
Here are the plugs where you can see Steve and Helen all this week.
Hopefully you're watching this on a 23-inch screen. If so, accurate. Not that they measure the screens in heights. Don't worry about it. I'm here to tell you what I'm up to. It's the same as yesterday, but let's just... you can ignore the live stream on Friday at 12. We're doing that. Wellingborough tonight. I've got the details of where it is. Not written them down, though. Saturday, tomorrow, they've confirmed newspaper review on GP News, which is me talking about the news, which is what you get here. There'll be fewer, and indeed less, knob gags. YouTube.com/@Mr. Stephen Allen, which is where you need to go to get more of these. Substack.com/@Mr. Stephen Allen. There's always one that we plop in there on a Sunday night. I would say I'll try and do more, but I won't. And Ko-fi.com/Mr. Stephen Allen. I believe there might have been a song. Not bad, eh? Not bad. Do you want to know how wide the screen is? Just in case you want to know what screens to watch this on. 33. If you're watching this on a, that's what they don't tell you about with tape measures. Very careful, because no, with the metal ones, it's about 3% of circumcisions and nothing to do with the religion. We need the sound of the plug, Steve. I'm not sure what sound that would be. Plugs in space, says Charlotte. Precisely, I've got to read it from the top again, haven't I? Mad threat, says Chris. Chaz, Tiddy, Belt. Oh, I see. Like P. Diddy, but Chaz and Dave. Plugs in space, there it is. And Steve's homework is to watch Billy Connolly. Oh, I've got enough on. You didn't do it diagonally. Not in space. You try and listen. The 3-body problem. How did I miss that joke? How did I miss a joke about doing... Wait a minute. Back it up like a Tonka truck. How did I, Mr. Stephen Allen, from Mr. Stephen Allen's Almost Daily with Stephen Allen, miss out on doing a sex joke in space with Newtonian physics and not have a punchline that was about the 3-body problem, therefore a 3-way? I've lost it. I used to be somebody. I could have been a contender. I don't do that. More of this needed, I think. Should we try and measure it diagonally before we go? You're fully up to date. But I don't think they still measure them diagonally, though. I think we used to measure them diagonally when they were 4x3s. I think these days, it's just across, isn't it? 37 inches, if it's a day. So I'm a man, so you want to trim a few off that, don't you? Do a "you are not a salmon" in a Scottish accent. It won't have the same effect. Is that right, by the way? You're not a salmon. Yeah, I didn't believe you. I actually thought you might be a salmon. You're right about that. No, we still do. Do you still? No. Do you still measure? For a 16:9 screen, are you still measuring diagonally? Well, no one answered the one about sex in space, so I'm not sure we'll get much on that one. But we established you're not a woman, Judes, which is why you won't be sacking Starmer, which is a shame, isn't it? Man measurements, Ems. I don't know what you mean. While you're here, Ems, I'm trying to think of a question where the answer is going to be country. What are people in boats trying to do illegally, Ems? Of course, the answer will be slip into my country. Feel free to say that. Send a clip. Charlotte says, no, now you sound like Shrek. How very dare you? That's true, yeah. Steve has Shrek's appeal. Steady on, old boy. God damn it, Kerms. I keep forgetting. What's Kerms? You didn't do it diagonally. Yeah, it is difficult. So we're fully up to date. We've covered all of the news. Back on your tellies tomorrow morning from 6. Very much wearing a different outfit and not doing quite as many Newtonian physics sex jokes. Obviously, I'm so advanced I would be doing Lagrangian sex jokes. But that's because I still believe I've got potential. No one. Okay. Don't say that. Shrek looks like a thumb. Steve doesn't. Thank you. And you say that, though. Sometimes I do this at my phone and it unlocks it. And I like my Ko-fi like I like my women. Stacked with a big tip inside. I've written Ko-fi jokes now 5 times and it's not getting through. No, that one is. Just about. Good Lord. Pay attention, 007. What do you think you're doing? Looks like he's attempting re-entry, sir. Anne would love that, and Stephen too. That's the thing. I know there are some rules I live by in life, and I think one of them, and I didn't realise it was baked in me, but I can't be that naughty in front of Anne Diamond. For some reason, no. I was brought up right. And one of the rules of my manners, my etiquette, never do jokes about having a 27-incher in front of Anne Diamond. 27 inches actually 24 across. Now you want me to do Pythagoras live on the... No, I'm not doing it. I refuse. Thank you for watching. Thank you for partaking in this. We'll try and do another one Tuesday at midday. If you would be awfully... In fact, we'll play out on music. So if you could be so kind as to track down the YouTube video of this after it's all been sealed, when the live thing's done, leave a comment underneath. That helps. Click like, thumbs up. Not in a I look like a thumb way, but either way, wouldn't mind. And leave comments, click subscribe, all of that lark. Ko-fi.com, but that gets a mention in the song. We need a posh Steve impression. Stephen Allen. Did I not sound posh doing a bit of a Rex Harrison, My Fair Lady singing attempt? Oh. Speaking of which, till next time, bye.
I've got to try and talk you into Ko-fi. I've got to try and talk you round today. Have a little fun and give a little funds. It's the only way the stream is going to pay. I've got to try and ask for donations to keep this show appearing on YouTube's. I wish it wasn't so, it's the only way I know, because I haven't had luck trying to sell my nudes. And if there comes a day when I don't need the money at all, if I win the lottery, till then I'll make a living talking these old balls. I've got to try and talk you into Ko-fi. For one more thing before you have to dash, go to the website, there's a button on the right where you could tip a little bit of cash. And if there comes a day when I just get a proper job, I could earn the proper way. Till then, I'll keep on acting like a bit of a knob. Just a bit, you say? You're naughty. I've got to try and talk you into Ko-fi. I'm worse than a beggar on a train. I know I've had a wash, but the beggar will get off, and tomorrow I'll be asking once again. And if there comes a day when I am well-to-do, thank you, I'll truly say, but I won't give any money you gave back to you. Well, at least I'm honest. Fund the show by giving some Ko-fi. Mr. Stephen Allen's the username. With the show I've done today, I think I know what you'll say. No, thank you, just the same. Oh well.
You're Noah Salmon, by the way.